guys, it's Daryl here from the Longboard Hive. How we roll, how Daryl rolls, and everything else that I've decided to do like a crazy person. Yeah. Anyways, today I'm going to do a lesson on sliding. I had some requests to do some more tutorial videos, as my longboard dance videos have actually been performing really well on YouTube, even though I made them years ago. Apparently longboard dancing has gotten really popular recently, so check those out. But for now, we're here at Garbage Hill. Garbage Hill is a famous garbage dump in Winnipeg. It's really the only hill we actually have, so we're going to make the best out of it, even though we've got a headwind, to teach us to slide. Now, that's normally these conditions aren't ideal for sliding. It's a mellow hill, it's got rough pavement, there's a headwind, but we're going to be taking it real slow because that's what I expect you're going to be doing, so you don't die or injure yourself, because safety's first, fun second, looking cool somewhere in the third. So basically, I'm just going to demonstrate the breakdown of how to slide safely and how to not injure yourself, and just general safety tips on your beginning lessons of learning to slide. All right, so first things first, let's do a basic gear check. You need a helmet. Do not learn to slide, do not learn to do dumb things without a helmet. While you're learning is the most dangerous time and the biggest chance of you injuring yourself, and if you're injured, you can't enjoy longboarding and you're not going to really get into the sport, so just take it slow. We only got one body. So one thing that's really important for this lesson, slide gloves. So you can make them at home, you can buy them, of course. They usually have Velcro on the bottom and this nice hard plastic puck, and what this does is it allows you to put your hand down on the ground to create a kind of tripod stance for more stability, and also to take your weight off the wheels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride up to the top of the hill, I'm going to come down, and I'm going to do some slides for you right here. I'm going to try to capture a few super slow motion ones, and then we're going to break down exactly what I'm doing to initiate the slide, things that can go wrong, and everything in between. So yeah, slide gloves, really important. Helmets, really important. Knee pads, not necessary, but you're gonna really be thankful if you have them on and you fall on your knees. I've also got extra padded G-form butt shorts. So these things have foam pads over my hips and tailbone. Really important to protect the tailbone. I've seen some people have some pretty bad problems after injuring their tailbone. So be very careful. Another thing which I'm not wearing is high top shoes. So my shoes kind of expose my ankle. That's fine because I know how to slide. But when I started, I grinded my ankle bone almost to the bone several times. So I highly recommend high top shoes for this, and wear some pants or shorts that you really don't care if you destroy them, because there's a good chance in the learning process you're going to shred the ass or the butt of your pants. So yeah, that's basic safety. As for the board, I'm personally riding the Land Yachts. The Land Yachts. Sorry, no. For boards, I'm personally riding the Scam Skate Navigator. Now, this isn't as pretty as when I first bought it. I need to do some woodwork and shine this back up, because it's been on some trips with me. It's been through rain rides. It's been through everything. And the Scam Skate Navigator is a nice directional shape. It's got a W concave, which I really like because it kind of locks my arch into the center of the board and makes the board nice and stiff. Everybody has personal preference. There is really no right and wrong. I learned to slide on a board that was literally flat, like no concave at all, and I had really crappy grip. So it's possible to do it on anything. It just gets a little bit easier when your feet stick to the board a lot easier with nice sharp grip tape and good concave. So my personal recommendation, Scam Skate Navigator. But I'm biased. But, you know, I've gotten a lot of people on this board, and they also love it too. Taking this board 100 kilometers an hour. Anyways, Normally I'd ride snakes. They chunk on rough pavement, so I'm going to ride these Sector 9 butter sauce wheels. They're very durable, they're very slidey, so it's very easy to get the initial kick out where you make the wheels start going sideways, because one of the most challenging parts and the dangerous part of sliding is the initial kick out. So what's going to happen? So I'm going to come down here. Alright guys, we're back at the office, and what we're going to do now is just take a look at the footage. I'm going to go over in as best detail as I can what is going on, what it feels like, and here's a breakdown of the slide footage. Boom, let's zoom in on that footage. So first, we're just going to show you the full speed here. Just generally me pushing my butt as fast as I can down this slow hill, getting a tuck so I can get more speed, coming at it from the far side so I can angle my pre-carve to push me down the hill, nice low pendy, and back on my board. So here's for a little demonstration. So I'm breaking my tuck here, and I'm looking towards where I want to slide. Keep in mind, this is a good point where if you carve too hard, you can high side right here. You'll notice that I went over some cracks there that definitely shook me a little bit. This is a rough road. So now I'm angled horizontally across the road. There's some even bigger bumps. And I've just stopped carving. I'm squatting down, and I'm beginning now to carve heel side to my left as I'm squatting down as low as I can go, and then using the carve. You'll notice how much I'm already carving before I've touched the ground, but it's very much a simultaneous motion because the momentum of the carve allows you to lean further down without being all that super flexible. And I've had a lot of people that tell me that they have trouble touching the ground, and it's one of those things where you just have to lean over. And if you're going fast enough, you'll stay on the board. If not, you'll land on your hand, but that's what the pucks are for. So, starting to carve. I don't know why my slow motion is going so slow here. Beginning to carve, and I start putting my weight onto what is my back arm. I guess no, technically that's my front arm. What am I talking about? I've been saying front arm this whole time. I've been saying back arm this whole time. This is my front arm. So my front arm touches the ground in alignment with my front wheels, maybe about an inch behind. And I start putting weight onto my hand here while I'm still carving. So this right there, you'll see I broke loose, and the board naturally, because I am carving and at the same time have most of my weight on the front, it begins to break out in the back first, which then at a 45-degree angle pushes me in a swinging motion around the center point, which is my hand, over to the right side of the screen, or my left, which then puts my wheels past 90 degrees, so they begin spinning the opposite direction. My back becomes my front, and what naturally happens is I'm just simply staying in the same position, looking down the hill where I want to go. It puts more weight on my back, which is now my front wheels here, taking weight off the front wheels, which are now the back, as well as putting my board at this 45-degree angle, which then naturally, because the wheels want to roll this way, is going to swing me back the other direction. So this is why they call it the pendy, because you're swinging like a pendulum all around your center point, which is your hand. And really, at this point, you just have to be confident and stable because it's very easy to freak out over the fact that you're now going backwards, looking over your shoulder down the hill. But all you have to do is put more weight onto that hand and onto the front, which is now the back. It'll naturally swing back around, because this is your center point, and your momentum is still carrying you down the hill to the direction now you're used to going. When you slow down, the wheels are going to hook up, and you can use that momentum plus pulling your hand and your body onto your feet to bring you back onto the board, at which point naturally you're going to carve a little toe side with that momentum you still have to hopefully point you back straight down the hill in the direction you would like to be going. Voila! And make sure you make noise with your excitement. So here's a little higher angle to get a better look at the angle of my board. So we're going to go through this slow because I didn't slow down this particular footage here. Basically, as you can see, I'm going mostly straight. I begin carving here ever so slightly as I'm reaching my hand down, more or less kind of just almost falling onto my hand, and knowing that I know the feeling of the friction kind of tells me how much I have to lean onto my hand. This is just something that kind of comes with time. You don't want to go too far out because you can definitely dislocate your shoulder pretty easily doing this. As you can see, I'm kind of a little out there, but it's a natural angle. It feels good as far as I can tell. Just look out for cracks eating your gloves. So you can see here, my hand is basically going in a straight line, while at the same time, the board is swinging around the hand and going straight. So more or less, you can see my legs, aside from a very slight tweak in the way I'm putting most of my weight on the front of my foot, my back leg is basically lying down, and it just kind of naturally feels like I'm just swinging around my hand. Like if you just put your hand down and move your feet around it in a circle, that's basically what it feels like. You're not trying to stretch way out. You don't have to shove anything. Naturally, your momentum just does this. And then as you pass that 90-degree point, the board itself will just push you back in the right direction if you've got enough speed to keep going. At which point here, you can see I've got a little bit more weight coming onto my back leg here, as my momentum is keeping me going this direction, which allows me to push the front of the board in the direction I want to end up going at the end. And of course, this is much easier on a curve rather than a straight road. But you know, you got to work with what you have, and that's why I did it the way I did. So now the board hooks up. You use that momentum to get you up off of your arm, because your arm, you're stretched out like this, and it's not the most easiest position to get up from if you're not moving. But with that momentum, you can see I kind of suck my legs in, and my body just keeps moving forward, which just brings me back into an upright position. And at this point, I can now carve toe side or whatever direction I want to control which direction I end up going. And of course, I'm trying to avoid hitting my camera, and that worked out pretty nicely. Here's another angle. I had to film this in 720 to get that nice 60 frames per second. So, of quality kind of dropped a little bit. But it's a different angle. You can kind of see how the approach affected the direction of the slide. So let's take that a little back again here. Whoop. Okay, so I was coming straight down on the far side of the road to angle this slide. Not much pre-carve, except for the fact that I carve even more towards this side of the road, towards the curbs that you see there. Obviously you don't want to hit the curbs, so you got to be pretty confident in your slide. So we're coming in, carve toe side, go over the cracks, almost die. I'm basically still leaning way over my toes at this point, getting down into the squat. I begin carving as I basically allow my body to more or less fall over to the side, but it's controlled falling. And then put the hand down in alignment with the front wheels, so front hand in alignment with the front wheels. Most of my weight is squatted onto my front leg, with my back leg basically lying down and my shoe almost sideways, just to allow myself to kind of kick out a little bit. And it's just like, honestly, it's maybe a few inches of movement. It's very subtle, and that's enough to control how fast my board rotates, at what angle it rotates, where it stops, and that's how I control the direction that I continue to slide. But for the most part, you could see that I had to carve pretty hard, and you got to know your wheel's friction there, because if you mess that first pre-carve up, you go full speed into the pavement, and I've done that before. It's not fun. And basically, let's do this again here. So you can see I'm already looking at where I'm about to slide. I'm carving, I'm looking at it, carving, looking at it, carving, throw the hand down, looking where I'm expecting to go, looking back over my shoulder. And basically I carved all the way from the far side of the road into the center of the correct lane, depending on what country you're in, of course, and ended up with my board pointing perfectly down the hill for me to hook up and keep going straight. And yeah, that's why the pre-carve and understanding the angles of the slide are extremely important. Here it is at full speed. Oh wait, no, this is a grab. Okay, let me play this back here for you. All right, here. So same pre-carve into it. I almost thought it was the same instance. But you'll see here, instead of leaving my hand up in the air, I grab the rail of my board here just behind my back leg, but in front of my back foot. Now the reason I'm doing that here is because what this does is it really helps me keep the back end from going all the way around, and keeps this board pointed at this 45-degree angle, slanting to the right, to make this slide pull me as far as I can to the right side of the screen or my left side. And this is one of the ways you can control your slide. So I barely for a second there went past 90 degrees, and even then it was hardly past 90 degrees. So this is if you really want to move over to the side of the road, or perhaps you're approaching a corner and you want to use the angle of your board to push you towards the right side and get you approaching that apex at the right angle. Now, unfortunately, I have a pretty straight road that's not the most steepest, so it's a little hard for me to demonstrate that, but as you go out and practice, it'll become more and more evident. And that very ending right there is what is called a stink bug. So I didn't film any demonstrations of me doing things extremely wrong, but this is an old habit from when I first started, and I didn't watch any videos to teach me. Now, I'm a little off screen here, so it kind of sucks for a demonstration here, but basically I'm grabbing between my legs. The first and most common issue with this is everyone's going to make fun of you. The second issue is that, say if I continued into these curbs and just hung on to my board like if I was hanging on for dear life, I would essentially, well, my back leg could basically break my arm. It's a very unlikely scenario, or you could fall in high side and end up with your arm trapped underneath you as you're sliding on the pavement. Not very fun. Again, these are pretty rare scenarios. That means you're basically hanging onto your board instead of bracing yourself and putting a puck down on the ground, which is already a sign that you shouldn't be hurtling down hills. But I've actually managed to get really good at doing it this way and could stink bug down the craziest mountain roads. And really the key was lift your butt, have all your weight on your front foot, get as close to your front of your board as possible, and don't lift the board with your hand, but simply use it to control the rotation. And that's the only way stink bugging is okay. Even then, just learn the proper way and don't go through the teasing and the jokes that I did when I showed up at Giant's Head doing the stink bug shutdown pendy for almost every single corner because I didn't know how to properly slide. But luckily some people helped me out, and after that event I knew how to toe side. I would like to specifically thank Billy Bones for that. James Kelly did some good advice. There was general help from a lot of the Landjaux guys at that event. Honestly, once Giants Head's back on, we should bring back the classes for beginners at the start of the event. I was perfectly fine paying extra money to show up early and get those lessons. They are immensely valuable. So shout out to Landjaux, you guys are awesome. You can see the Landjaux logo here on my socks. And I'm wearing a Scam Skate shirt with the sweet corn and melon logo. Yeah. All right, here's a slow motion version. So, I'm not very comfortable on this side, first of all, but you can also notice I'm not remembering to lift my butt enough. And this is kind of because this makes you kind of get really compact and almost like a cannonball form. And I normally like to be a lot more forward on my front foot, but again, that just is personal preference. It's all about controlling the angle of the board, the weight on each wheel, because the more weight you have on it, the more grip it has. The less weight you put on it, the easier it is to slide, and that's how you control your slide in the board. And yeah, keep it going. Now, another small thing. As you're learning, you're gonna not entirely be in control of this motion. You're gonna basically be hucking yourself down the hill, which is why it's important to wear safety gear. But if you don't have good durable wheels, one of the problems that can happen is you go to throw this slide and you basically freeze at 90 degrees. And if that happens, your wheels stop rotating and you slide on one little section of the wheel, and most wheels, even really durable wheels, if you do this often enough, will develop flat spots and become uneven and oval shaped, and then they're not going to ride very well. They're not going to stay contacted on the pavement as they're vibrating at higher speeds, and generally not very fun, and you're not going to be able to wear down that wheel to its very end and get your money's worth out of it. So just be mindful when you're learning to find durable wheels. Obviously, snakes are some of the favorite in the longboard world. However, if you have a lot of cracks in the road and a rough pavement, they are prone to chipping on the lips. It's not really the end of the world. I've actually rode snakes on this road plenty and only lost small chunks, but I prefer to save them for nicer roads. And these butter sauce wheels, which are very hard, seem to be basically indestructible. It's just ironic because on the packaging they say that they're going to leave thin lines, and I haven't left a single line with them yet. But again, it's flat here. Alright, so that does it for the Coleman slide lessons. Hopefully that explains a lot and helped you guys out. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below or join our Hive page. Of course, I am the Longboard Hive. The community is called Skate Hive, and it's on the hive.io platform or peakd.com. There's many ways to actually access this platform, but that's just all part of the whole decentralized confusion that is the crypto world. But of course, if you have any questions about that, or sliding of course, feel free to hit me up. I'll do my best to teach you everything I know. And if you join the platform, you can actually earn for creating posts about it, as well as you can help me out by following me and giving me likes. So, thank you for watching. We're going to try to do more videos like this and teach a few more tricks. Mind you, I'm not the best longboarder in the world, so I can't teach you too much, but what I do teach, I'll do my best to explain as well as possible and hopefully allow you to do as good as possible without hurting yourself. But, you know, can't make promises, so wear your helmet, wear your safety gear. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.